taking its time doing it. So, oh, there you go. We're going. All right. Well, welcome to. I don't know what to call this yet. I think I'm stuck between the Skoolhouse Podcast or comic book the Long Box Lounge or something. But welcome to the hopefully fairly reoccurring. I don't have a schedule for this podcast. And I'm joined by my good friend and longtime friend, Scot Nelson, who is on his way to pick up a cake.
Yes. Yeah, God bless. It's not just any cake. It's nothing but cakes.
Oh, nothing but cakes?
Yes. Now, as sweet as you are, Keenan, I don't think I would need a cake. But yes, it's going to be iced lemon.
Yummy. That sounds really good. We've done when we were living in California, we did nothing but cake a few times, but there was another one called Icing on the Cupcake, which my wife loved. We went there at least once every other week because we would find some reason to celebrate with it. So,
Should we do a little bit of background about our relationship?
Sure. Yeah, we've been friends. What year is it?
Since 2012.
Over 10 years. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just recently reconnected once you got your Facebook back. So.
Well, yeah, I there's lots of great connections that I had, and I got out of Facebook because, I was like, oh, they do all these policies. I'm not doing that. I'm, I was doing typical, boomer stuff, boomer conspiracy theorist. But I was like, there's too many great relationships here to let go. So I'm going to get back into it. And, Lorenzo, you've always been like one of the coolest people I've ever known, and you get all my references.
Thank you. I try. We were. So a quick story. This is just to describe our relationship here. When I lived in the dorms, I lived on the second floor, and of course, I lived on the way the dorms are set up. It's kind of like it looked like a motel essentially, right? So our doors opened up to the outside hallway there, and I had like a balcony, a railing right outside my door, and I would sit there with my door open because I don't know. It was an open invite for whoever was in the dorms walking around to come hang out, or I just liked fresh air, or I wasn't paying the power bill, so it's whatever. I don't know, but I kept my door open.
A little bit of all of them.
Yeah, a little bit of all of that, but I kept my door open, and every so often, you would be looking at the railing, and you would see a hand come over the railing, and the next thing you know, you see Scot Nelson pulling himself up over, and he would hop over and says, "Hi, Sam," or "Hi, Clarissa." And that's how me and Scot Nelson were hanging out that day. Was I would see the hand come up over the railing.
Oh yeah, it was definitely awesome. I would on the bottom floor, I would jump up and climb up to the second floor. And for anyone who doesn't know and here who's not a 90s Nick kid, Clarissa Explains It All was about a woman back in the day who had her own talk show, and it's basically like her providing an edgy 90s teenage girl's opinion about the world around her, and she had this friend called Sam. Sam never used the door. He always just came through the window. So I did it. So I'm like, hey, Lorenzo would go, "Hi, Sam." Duh. "Hey, Clarissa, what's up?" And I always loved hanging out with Lorenzo because, one, he had a sense of identity to him, unlike a lot of people around us. Two, maybe it's just that Southern swag he had. He just, just nothing really seemed to bother him. And three, who else was I going to meet that simultaneously loved video games, anime, comics, and knew about cars?
Yeah, it's a rare combo.
Yeah, and he was an athlete and a professional paintballer. So I was like, oh, this guy's pretty. And he was a gentleman. So I was like, you don't really have that. So I got into cigars because of him. I started getting into beer because of him. So when I went to England, I was drinking people under the table. I fit right into England. I was like, oh man, this is great. But if I didn't hang out with beforehand, I would have been a typical lightweight American over there. So
Yeah, I've graduated. Well, I would say graduated. I still love my IPAs, but like I'm a bourbon guy now. Do you enjoy my bourbons?
Oh, I was just in Kentucky. I was in Kentucky. I was doing all this Kentucky bourbon over there while I was there, and I'm still a Scotch guy. I'm still Scotch, Highland Scottish flavors.
My favorite Scotch is going to be Lagavulin 16. It's what Nick Offerman drinks no, I'm sorry, not Nick Offerman, but Ron Swanson. It's what Ron Swanson drinks. It's really.
I went to his bar.
Oh yeah.
He has a bar in North Carolina that he went that his act that he went to, and he played Ron Swanson while he was there.
That does not surprise me at all.
Yeah, they have the Ron Swanson section.
Of course he did. So why we're here, we started this comic book community. I started this comic book community, ComicBookSkoolhouse. I love comic books. I've been collecting comic books since I was a kid. Off and on since I was. So I have, I went through stints of like not buying books. Now I'm like in my, I don't know what the era of buying books, but like I'm hardcore collecting again to where like it's slowly overtaking my desk. Actually, it's not slowly; it's fully taken over my desk. I can't turn the camera right now, but if I did, you'd see stacks of books right now. So I wanted to do this podcast because I like talking comic books. I like talking comic book culture. We lost Scott. Waiting for him to come back.
Okay, I'm here. I'm still here.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
I'm letting the internet catch up with me.
Okay, that's fine. But yeah, so we're here to talk. I love comics, love comic culture. I love everything to do with comics. And I know Scott here he dabbles in comic books. So I'm here to be the expert. He's here to be my casual. And we're here to talk books and talk stuff. So one of the first
to get
no, go for it.
To give a little bit of my background on that, like, yes, Keenan is definitely the comic book expert on this. I am all about the artistic implications behind the comics and the characters. I'm basically the guy that approaches it from an artsy literary standpoint.
Yeah. And actually, what's funny? So right before I got on this one on here with you, I was on. So I have I'm trying a new feature in the community called the featured member. And one of the guy who comments on he either likes or comments on every post, which I truly appreciate, is Mike. I'm going to butcher his last name. I should have had him fully explained to me when I was on there with him, but we're talking. It's Mike Gagone. He's Canadian. He is a comic creator and collector. He's been in the industry for over 25 years, and we were talking about the different, like, how the art in comics has just evolved over years, and like the different things that influence books, like what influenced my book that I'm currently working on, the books he's working on, and like different things that have inspired him over the years. And so, yeah, it was a cool conversation. I hope to have another one with him soon because he's a super cool guy. But to your point, yeah, I do enjoy. I mean, like, I am in the comics because of the art, right? Like, who isn't? The art is part of the reason it gets you. Like, I remember picking up my books. The books I pick out because of the cover art for the most part. And then like I go from the story matters, but like cover art is what grabs you. So yeah, so I can appreciate coming to it from an artist literary standpoint. What You still there?
Yes, I am. I'm still here. I'm just listening to you.
Okay. All right. No, I was just going to ask you what, when it comes to comic books, what is something that pops out in your mind for like a book you enjoyed or something that just stands out to you for whatever reason?
So similar to you, the artwork is what initially attracts me. Like in the beginning, is what kind of gets your foot in the door.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm a big fan of Michael Turner's work
Okay.
and a lot of the art that he did for like the Superman comics, back in the earlier 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm a big fan of that. So a lot of it is the artwork that kind of catches me. It's normally what I feel like the artwork is trying to say. Like,
Okay.
for example, it's for example like the Killing Joke. I know that's like kind of like comic book bingo. Like, okay, you're Batman. Who's going to mention the Killing Joke?
Yeah.
But what got me was you look at like Alan Moore's work on that, and I remember the first time I was introduced to the Killing Joke, I just saw like the Joker, like in the corner of my eye, the Joker taking a picture with a camera.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, what does that mean? So it intrigued me.
Yeah.
So that's what attracts me is the artwork gets you in the door. And what keeps me there is the emotional implications of the work.
Mm-hmm.
So what made the Killing, I mean, realistically, I want to use something a little less generic than I know that the Killing Joke's not generic, but it's kind of like comic book bingo, like I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But what attracts me to the Killing Joke was the idea that they were giving Joker a backstory, but I was never really fully convinced it was real.
Yeah.
During it. And then the ambiguous ending of it, where did Batman or didn't he kill the Joker? Like is he did or didn't he? But it was that idea that the implications of you're just one bad day away
Mm-hmm.
from becoming your worst self.
Yeah.
And it shows you that the Joker has a point. He's like, just how much of you and your manners, your etiquette, your class, your morals, how much of that is based off of how safe you are in society?
Yes.
Do are your political beliefs the same if you're the one who has to defend yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Is your morals and attitudes towards people the same if you're the one who has to pay for it?
Yeah.
So that's what attracts me to comics is they're willing to explore topics, for better or worse,
Mm-hmm.
that you're not going to find easily in other forms of media.
Yeah. It's actually funny. So I was actually talking to Mike on this last podcast or recording or whatever you want to call it. And he was writing, he wrote for Marvel. He wrote for Marvel for a little bit. And one of the stories he pitched to them that they ultimately said no, but then he ended up doing it on a different platform for Marvel was a story about the moral fiber of Spider-Man, of Peter Parker. And essentially it's going to be, he was telling me it started off with like Peter just got back from this huge intergalactic mission with the Avengers. And when he gets back to New York, he finds that there has been a serial kidnapper who's been kidnapping kids throughout Manhattan. And the story of finding him and then when he catches him in his hideout, it's too late. The kids are gone. And the moral fiber, the moral line that is Peter Parker about to step over that line that he has because of like what this guy has done. He's literally committed one of the worst atrocities that you can as a human. And is Peter Parker going to step over that line and like end him, or is he going to let the police take him away? And he, ultimately he didn't. All right, he just webs him up and let the police catch him, and then and stuff. And then another twist in the story that he ended up writing because he wanted Marvel wanted more characters in it. Was like he teamed up with Harry Osborn, Hobgoblin, and then after the Hobgoblin, or after Peter webs the guy up and lets the police catch him, Hobgoblin comes into the room and says, "Hey, the police. It's going to take the police 5 minutes to get here. What can I do in 5 minutes?" And then the next panel is just the guy screaming. So it's just like different stuff like that. But like with comics, that's one thing I like about comic books too, is like kind of exploring different uh, ethics and morals from these major characters, and then also with these same characters, while we're playing with like their moral fibers per se and their ethics, they're also the same characters we can sit and go and you'll see them in an issue like pulling a practical joke on Spider-Man, pulling a joke on the Hulk or something like that, something random. Like it's just still, it goes from like one end of the spectrum to the other, and comics can do that almost seamlessly with whatever character. Because even some characters who were born in like a more comedic aspect of it, like um, the one we were talking about. Well, no, they weren't born in comedic aspect. They were more serious when they were born. It was like the Ninja Turtles. Ninja Turtles was like a very serious book back in the '80s when it first came out. It was like they were like they'd like kill people and like actually did stuff like that. But then also the cartoon of the Turtles when I was growing up was like this super bubbly, not bubbly, but like this like happy-go-lucky cartoon. We're catching the bad guy type cartoon. So it's just like that's what I love about comics is it's like the ever-ending spectrum of things you can do with all the characters. Like every character in comics, you can do whatever, and it'll be an audience for that, and there'll be someone that will truly appreciate that, and and will be willing to read that. So yeah, I get where you're coming from. Same thing with the Killing Joke. The Killing Joke, that was I don't want to say it was a turning point for Batman because Batman's been like dark for a while. It was kind of like a darker character or darker story. You got your cake? Love it.
Yes, we're completing the quest line.
Yeah, but like no, but Batman has been like I feel like Batman has been more treated more of like a serious character for a very long time. I kind of like it when they take Batman or and his characters or in his rogues gallery, kind of make him a little silly. It's kind of refreshing in an aspect of it.
Well,
Like
so
I was showing my daughter. I forget the name of the show. It's like it was on Cartoon Network. It was like a campy. It was like the cartoon version of like the Adam West show.
you mean Batman?
What was that again? Can you say it again?
You mean Batman Brave and the Bold?
Brave the Bold. Yes, I was showing her that, and it's
That has a fantastic episode in that one that warrants its own talk.
yeah, there's a couple in there that warrants its own talk, but like overall though, the show was kind of campy. It was kind of like not. I mean, it was serious, but it wasn't like this is the Batman, the Dark Knight, and
Yeah,
so it
you
was.
could tell that they were combining. You could tell they were combining the like some of the camp of the some of Batman's camp, along with some of the seriousness of it.
Mhm.
I think that because there's a lot because you kind of unpacked a lot, and I want to kind of tackle some of your points that you tackled. For example, like with Spider-Man, if you don't mind, if I can kind of comment on some of the stuff that unpack some of the stuff you talked about.
Yeah, go for it.
So I'm right with you. The beauty of Spider-Man, and so I did a little bit of research on this. So do you know, like, when Spider-Man was invented, you know that Stan Lee got a lot of flack for Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the beauty of Spider-Man was, and this is something that Stan Lee kind of kept with till he died, peace and blessings, for his passing. But he he was like, why is it that there's nothing relatable to a superhero? Like, and that was what made Spider-Man so huge, is that if you got superpowers and were suddenly able to right the wrongs that occurred in front of you, and your own level of selfishness led to you losing the most important person to you.
Mhm.
how would you maintain your moral compass?
Yeah.
And the beauty of Spider-Man is that this guy, I mean, Spider-Man has the power. If he really wanted to, he could be a professional athlete and he can get scholarships. He could do whatever he wanted, and no one would be the wiser. But he
Yeah.
doesn't. He continuously uses his power for good, despite all the temptation. And it's interesting because that mirrors, I'm not making this religious, but that mirrors a central tenet that mirrors a philosophical debate between Eastern and Western, between Orthodox and Catholicism. The idea that, like, for example, with Christ, and if you apply it to Spider-Man, is Spider-Man good? Is Spider-Man a superhero because he's pure, and ergo he lacks the potential to do um, worse behavior
Mhm.
that makes him pure, or is he pure because he has within himself the potential to do terrible behavior, yet does not do it? And
Yeah.
it mirrored the talk about Christ. And I believe it's the latter. I think that's what makes Spider-Man so amazing, that you have this guy who literally has the power to do more or less whatever. He has the power to live very well for himself, but you see him struggling with things that you and I would struggle with
Hmm.
every day, because he refuses to use his power. He refuses to use what he has irresponsibly, because he's continuously reminded of, the death of Uncle Ben.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I remember. I was having a conversation with someone, or it was brought up on a I had this conversation. The conversation was brought up because in comics nobody dies. You don't die. You'll come back, right? But like Uncle Ben
Yeah.
has to stay dead. Uncle Ben cannot not be dead, because if he's not dead, then Spider Man is not Spider Man. So it's just like you can never, like. Granted, they've had like, oh, if you go to an alternate universe, Uncle Ben never died. Peter died or whatever. But like our Spider Man
But
616
death is
cannot
important.
have. What are you saying?
I'm sorry. It's like that's something I've noticed about a lot of some of the Marvel characters versus the DC characters, is that um with Spider-Man, it's like anyone can be Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Gwen Stacy, like anyone can be Spider-Man. But it seems the core tenet of Spider-Man is, that there's certain things that have to happen. If you're going to be Peter Parker, Uncle Ben has to go. If it's not Uncle Ben, then the story is drastically changed and someone else has to die. It seemed, because Spider-Man's morality, with great power comes great responsibility, is irreversibly linked to the loss of his closest member.
Mhm. Yeah, it's
So
canon.
it's like, if you don't have this, you don't get this. It's almost like an equation. Peter Parker is, you know, getting bit by a spider plus death of Uncle Ben equals Spider-Man. Anytime that formula is altered, and it's that level of consistency that works with people, because it's easily digestible and
Yeah.
understand it.
Yeah, what's actually really funny is you're describing the Spider-Verse movies. In the second Spider-Verse, there's like the whole point of it is Miles like has to have his canon event to be Spider-Man, and Miles is like, "Why do I have to have a canon? What do you mean? My dad has to die? I'm not going to let that. It's it's that's the whole point of the movie, and it is like I can't wait for the next one to finish out the series. But that's you're describing like for you to be Spider-Man, something has to happen, meaning someone close to you has to die. There's no ifs, ands, or
Yeah,
buts about it.
yeah, and you mentioned the Batman point that you brought up. Batman's the same way. Like, it's like you don't get Batman without the death of his parents. It's like Batman. It's like Batman. It's like Bruce plus death of parents equals Batman. There's no two ways about it. Like, it is what it is, you know. And the interesting thing about the Batman series is that if the Killing Joke is seen as the most famous, it's like if you think about what's the most famous Batman comics, it's like the Killing Joke, Year One, Long Halloween, and Hush are what come to my mind, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but I would also say that on top of, I would dare to say that the most influential piece of Batman media, equal or next to the Killing Joke, is the animated series. Because
Yeah,
that's where you get Mark Hamill Joker,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when you get Heart of Ice with Heart of Ice. That's when you get sympathetic Mr. Freeze, and
Mm-hmm.
that's where you get Harley Quinn.
Yep. Yeah, and which are well, so with the animated series, like Mr. Freeze is like one of the when you ask, oh, name three Batman villains, Joker, Mr. Freeze, right, and then you have like Harley Quinn is just one. First off, she off that alone, she's her own thing now. She's like broken off, become her own thing. She's a superhero at this point, and but
Yeah,
in there,
she's a product of the times.
yeah, but Harley Quinn is that's Joker's pudding.
Yeah, it's that's the so that's I think that Harley Quinn has the Harley Quinn. So the Joker is irrevocably a part of Harley Quinn's DNA.
Mhm.
She has changed the Joker's DNA to some extent. That's
Mhm.
why I think Punchline was invented, was because they were like, we want another Joker fangirl. We can't do Harley Quinn because we've kind of, we're kind of taking her in a different direction. So we're going to do Punchline. And I don't hate Punchline, but it's like it's very difficult to live up to the animated Harley Quinn, because I think on one hand, Harley Quinn is benefiting from the social change of the times, because, she was in a time where, we were changing our opinions of a lot of female characters.
Mhm.
So I think she benefited tremendously from that. Also, like she, benefited from the popularity of the arguable quality of the live action DC, movie universe with Suicide Squad and Birds of Prey. Like you could argue about their quality another day, but um, for someone, I think Harley Quinn's stuck in this weird middle ground to where some people like the new Harley Quinn because she represents the well, not overcoming, but she's a woman who, or a character, a person who is getting out of an abusive relationship, and she's starting
Mhm.
to, recover and find from that. Um,
Yeah.
what I think, what I think is admirable about her is that she doesn't. That Harley Quinn doesn't try to tote herself as I'm the symbol of change. She tells people, no, go look at Wonder Woman. She's a role model. I'm still crazy. I'm just recovering. So Harley
Yeah.
Quinn is like this idea that you don't get over trauma, you get better at dealing with it.
Yeah.
And that's what's admirable about her new character. But I'm not going to lie to you, like, as a fictional character, her dynamic with the Joker, to me, has been her most interesting run. Her
Yeah.
when she was supposed to be a throw, she was so popular as a throwaway character. And then you also have, was it Miss, what was it? Her voice actor, Sawyer? Is her voice actor named Sawyer in the animated series?
Hold on. I think. Hold on.
But fantastic voice acting.
Yes.
We learn more about the Joker. I mean, it's interesting because the Joker's a character that you're never going to really know what's right or what's wrong.
Arlene Sorkin.
Yes, Harleen Sorkin, like that to me is my favorite Harley Quinn. No
Mhm.
disrespect to Tara Strong, she's you know Tara Strong is like she's a staple of the community, but I mean, come on now, come on now, Mr. J, come on now.
I think she passed away recently.
God bless her. We lost Optimus
Yeah,
Prime.
yeah,
Peter
she passed away.
McCullen passed away. We lost Harley Quinn.
We lost Batman.
Yes.
Kevin Conroy.
Yes. Yeah, Kevin Conroy. It's like he was. I mean, well, so the new Batmans, I don't think do a. I think the new Batmans do a better job than the new Jokers.
It depends. Like I like. Don't get me wrong. I love Mark Hamill, #1 Joker all times. But
Yeah, so much so he keeps coming back. That's how good he is. Like at least Kevin Conroy was able to take a break from Batman every once in a while. Like, yeah, he was the GOAT, but like, I mean, we have other iconic voices of Batman, or at least, we still have Adam West Batman.
mhm,
We still have other people who can do a Batman voice, and people are like, that's not so bad. You know?
yeah,
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not so
yeah.
bad. Like, look at
Well,
any Batman. Look at the Batman movies with look at Under the Red Hood. It wasn't a bad Batman.
wasn't a bad Joker
But
either.
that same
Joe
Joker,
DiMaggio.
yeah,
John
not a
DiMaggio.
bad Joker, but yeah.
It's not Mark Hamill. Well, like so, John DiMaggio, Kevin Michael Richardson are two other Joker voice actors that I like. If Mark Hamill
hmm
wasn't a choice, it would be down to those two. But you know,
I feel you on. I could feel you on that.
are you going upstairs with your cake to eat cake and finish the podcast? I'm taking a brief intermission here, folks. Scott Nelson is going up to his, I'm assuming, apartment with his cake to have his cake and eat it too. But while we're waiting, this is the perfect time for me to talk about our giveaway. Yeah, we are giving away our
I
David
am still here.
Nakayama covers. I can hear you, but I'm doing the advertisement while you're doing whatever you're doing. We are giving away
Amazing
a
artwork.
thank you. It's a David Nakayama cover of Deadpool Batman, which is a big the recent crossover event that happened about a month ago. These are limited to 2,500 copies, and we are also giving away. So we have the trade dress here. We're also giving away the Virgin. This is coming as a set. This is limited. The trade dress is limited to 2,500 copies. The Virgin copy is limited to 500. This is number 61 of 500. So the way to enter the giveaway is all you have to do is join the community. If you join the community, you're already entered. At the beginning of December, we're going to do the announcement, or I'm going to go live, and I'm going to choose the winner live in the community. So all you got to do is join. That's all you got to do. Free to join, and you get possibly winning free books. Can't beat that. So, yeah, that's the end of my advertisement. And then hopefully in the future, we'll be giving away some even cooler books and hopefully some slabs and stuff. But that's for a later date.
Was that magic on the cover?
Yes, it was Magic and Poison Ivy.
Yeah, well, it's funny because so as the I wouldn't get so like all right, so in comparison, I guess you could call me a normie, but normie is a slur for me. So, like
You're a
a
casual.
normie to me is come on now. I'm a gamer too. So when you say casual, what I'm really hearing is oh man, I love like like oh man, I love Harley Quinn. Are you a Harley Quinn fan or a Margot Robbie fan? That's what it says to me. And
Okay.
it's like, well, yeah, so that's what the norm. Anyway, so yeah, as the comic book 3 level here, um, I like Magic has become more prominent to me because of Marvel Rivals, and I think Marvel Rivals is reviving a lot of Marvel characters that were C and B listers.
I do not play Marvel Rivals. I haven't played. I'm not. I haven't played video games in a hot minute. I do know what Marvel Rivals is. I do see clips. The only reason I know who Magic is, um, I haven't. I don't know who she is like in character. I don't know what she. I just know what she looks like. I haven't read
She's
any of her books.
yeah, she's from what I understand, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna get somebody in the comments about this. She is Doctor Strange's apprentice, and
Okay.
she's basically Doctor Strange's apprentice, and I don't know too much more outside of that, but from what I understand, she's like, kind of an easy combination, you know what I mean? Like attractive white woman with a sword. You can't really go wrong with that.
Uh,
Attractive woman with
yeah.
a sword.
Like I said, I haven't like. Also, I haven't been reading a lot of Marvel. Marvel. Don't get me wrong, Marvel's fine. Marvel's great in its own right. It has good books and stuff. I'm just so into DC right now. I've been into DC my entire life, but DC right now, in my personal opinion, is putting out better stories, better comics. Um, just like the absolute universe in DC right now is killing it. It is fantastic. It is so good. And I'm reading all of it. I'm reading Absolute Batman, Absolute Wonder Woman, Absolute Superman, Absolute Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter, and Flash. And all the offshoots, like the Absolute Evil event that just happened. Well, not event, but the Absolute Evil issue that just dropped. And then Absolute Batman Annual #1, like just dropped. And it was just like, that one was just as good. I did a whole video on it. It's on the community. It's in the community. It's on my channel. Go check it out. It's quite DC is just killing the game right now, and I think they're putting out better stories than um, Marvel at the moment, and I think it's because Marvel is focused on um, is more focused in the movie realm right now, which nothing's wrong with it. They're putting out like they've been putting out good movies and stuff, but like I think it's kind of lost focus on their books. Like I personally think Marvel should be leaning into their Ultimate Universe right now. Their Ultimate Universe right now is actually some of the better storytelling they have going on in the Marvel Universe comic book wise. Like, and they're about to end it. Like, I don't know if they initially came out with it knowing it was going to end in 2026, but like they're about to end it. I personally would keep it going. It's actually a little dark. It's like a darker, edgier, more I don't want to say real, but like a little more of a more in depth or a deeper story than like stuff that's going on in like what's a big book right now for Marvel outside of that? Spider-Man, like the Spider-Man books or the Fantastic Four or whatever. I think the main Marvel universe right now is kind of meh compared to the main DC universe, which they're doing the DCKO event right now. It's like kind of awesome. They literally turned the DC universe into a fighting game, like, and it's awesome. So
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think that so let me just get this out the way. DC has always had a better animated universe than Marvel, hands down.
yeah.
Like I defy you to find a longer, more consistent animated superhero universe than the Batman animated series, the Superman series, and Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. Those
Mhm.
are absolutely fantastic series that they still hold up to this day.
Yes,
Um,
they are goated. I will
I
say that.
s- I stand by it. So now Marvel's been killing the IRL movies. Like they've been killing it. The Marvel universe has been killing it, but I'm with you there. I think DC overall, I think Marvel has peaks and spikes when it's better quality. Like it has spikes in quality. But I think that DC, especially with its like heaviest hitters, maintains steadier quality. And the reason why I say that is because Warner Brothers historically has been more. I guess you could say they've given more control of. They've let DC have more control over itself than Marvel does with Disney. Than Disney does with Marvel.
Mhm.
You know, like what was it back in what, like 2007 when Disney bought Marvel? When was that?
7, 8. I don't know. Let me look.
Yeah, it was some period around there, but we all knew that, corporate Disney's going to corporate.
Yeah.
So I think that Marvel movies have done a great job with um making, especially the Iron Man movies. They've done a great job with making nerd culture commerciable. So now you have normies that call themselves nerds, because when we were young, nerd culture and geek culture, I don't want to piss my geeks and my nerds off here, um, were girl repellent.
Yeah.
And now it's like, if you're like, oh, I like, this, that, and the third, it's not girl repellent.
Hmm.
So I do think Marvel did a great job there, but overall, I think that Marvel is a little more. I think DC is a kind of a. If you were to compare them, I think DC is more of a conservative kind of idea, because their character is supposed to represent ideas, not necessarily people in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
And then Marvel is more of like, DC's like gods among us who are benevolent, and but Marvel's more like humans with god powers.
Yeah.
Um, but I think by the nature of that, it makes Marvel like very susceptible to the changing times.
Yeah. I guess.
Long story short, DC is better than Marvel. There, I said it.
I personally agree. I've been a DC stan since I was a kid. And to this day, I will stand on it till they, hopefully never, but until the day they die, or the day I die, whatever comes first. I don't know. But I think the one thing with DC though, DC is not a. I think because me again, me and Mike were talking about this, and we just had like huge nerdy conversation. I think Marvel is more protective of their IP. They don't want their IP to be quote unquote tainted somehow by doing it off to doing different stories and having characters do different things, and like what if this, what if that, even though they have a whole series called What If. But they
Do
like,
you think so? Because I mean, they got a history. I mean, you ever heard of the Mangaverse?
yeah, but like I'm talking like recently, like because like you were saying, Marvel will peak, right? Will peak and peak and peak, and DC kind of like they'll do that every once in a while. And DC has revamped their universe, God knows how many times. But
Oh,
the
oh my God, yeah.
yeah, but like Marvel will peak, and like maybe the MangaVerse was a peak, right? But like today, I think, especially with like DC doing the Absolute Universe and kind of like having a darker, edgier kind of like Batman breaks the no kill rule in the Absolute Universe. Like he straight up kills people. Like there's literally this annual edition that just came out. He literally is going up against an extremist group, and he runs them over with his dumpster Batmobile. It's ridiculous.
Jesus
And it's like,
Christ, was he Ben Affleck Batman?
and but it's not even like they don't like straight up say like, oh, he killed these guys. Like, no, no, no. He just rams the building with a giant dump truck. And if you think they all survive, you're the most naive person in the world. Like, it's ridiculous.
Well, and
But
come on, it's classic cartoons. Like, it's like, as long as you don't show anyone specifically dying, did they really die? you know,
I
they've been
guess,
doing that for, It's like, well, he didn't. We can't confirm that he killed anybody.
yeah, I guess. But it's still just like, but like with Marvel today, like I don't see Marvel taking like Tony Stark, and outside the fact that like he was an alcoholic for a while, or he still is an alcoholic, like I don't see them taking him and doing like, oh, let's do an Iron Man story where it's like, because Absolute Batman is blue collar Batman, like he's poor, right? Let's do a poor version of Tony Stark where like he's grittier, edgier, and like he's riding that line a little hard, right? And like I don't think they do that. I don't think they want to, because Iron Man is Robbie Downey Jr. and we can't have the image of Robbie Downey Jr. often people in comic books. Like, I feel like they're more protective of their IP to like not let their characters do these things that I think would be kind of cool and like possibly a good story to tell. And I think they value the IP image more than they value the story itself. So I think that's the issue with Marvel for me. And I could be wrong. There could be a whole thing I'm missing right now. If someone in the comments, someone listening to this in the comments is like, "You're wrong. You forgot about this. You forgot about that." Please correct me. But from
they're like, "Well, what about when Tony Stark passed the mantle to the different Iron Man? What about that?"
Just what about that? Yeah, just correct me if I'm wrong. But like overall, I think Marvel's soft, man.
So I will say this. All right. So now, mind you, I'm not I loved, I love DC, but you're talking, like remember, I'm quote the normie guy here, So, I think the difference is that, I think a lot of this can be related to a mix between their parent companies and the times. So let's be real. Marvel, in terms of, if you were to picture Marvel and DC like political parties, so to speak, DC tends to be more conservative. What is Superman? The Superman that we have from the animated series is, what is Superman? He's a Boy Scout. He is a guy that no matter how difficult things are, you can trust that he's going to do the right thing. Don't get me wrong, he has growth. He has plenty of experimental storylines, but he's kind of a flat character. And that's what makes him and characters like him and Goku so meaningful, because whether I'm growing up with Superman, you're growing up with Superman, regardless of how we're growing up with these guys, you're a 7-year-old, you're a 10-year-old, you're a 50-year-old, you understand who Superman is. Now, that's what I think is interesting about DC, is that no matter how much they experiment with their characters and they're like, "Oh, we're going to do this wildly drastic thing with Harley Quinn, or we're going to do this wild drastic thing with Batman where he's killing people," they have like their golden age runs. And with Batman, it's like when people think Batman, they think the animated series, The Killing Joke, Long Halloween, and the Arkham series. Like those have become so huge in Batman's zeitgeist, that if you were to do your anime, like when they did the anime Batman where he was computer animated and goes back in Japan.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah, it's an awesome movie. I wasn't fond of Joker's voice in that one at all.
No.
But you can do crazy experimental things like that, and people are going to remember it. Why? Because those Batman still have a piece of the animated series, and the Killing Joke DNA with them. Like it has the, I don't want to say golden age, but it has the core Batman IPs attached to it.
Is the vibe.
So yeah, it has the vibe. So aspects of those maintain the DC integrity. But what Marvel's done a better job of adjusting with the times. I mean, look at Black Panther. You know what I mean? Like you may not necessarily enjoy Black Panther. Maybe it's not the greatest film in the world, but culturally, that film is huge. You would never have a movie like that come out in the 90s or the 80s or even the early 2000s where you had that many Black people being that successful in a single movie. They would have had to invent some kind of weird drug thing. It's like, they would have had, like you would never have something like that. That's why Black Panther was such a huge thing for people. And when he was introduced, he was like Black Panther was introduced in a Fantastic Four comic, and that was Marvel's nuclear family. That was, fucking like that's Marvel's conservative nuclear or not conservative, but like that's Marvel's nuclear family. So you had this black man who was this wealthy African from this super nation who was super smart, super athletic, and he comes over and he's smoking like the Fantastic Four, which were at the height of their popularity at that time. DC would never have done something like that, at least not at
So
that time period.
yeah, well, like this is where I kind of disagree with you on this. So like, I feel like DC does change with the times. So like as of right now, like the current thing I'm reading the most right now is the Absolute Universe. And in Absolute Universe, so DC, the main DC universe is centered around Superman. Superman is the core of the DC universe, right? And everything branches off of that. Good, evil, all that stuff like that. The absolute universe is centered on Darkseid. Darkseid, uh-oh. We lost him. I'm gonna make my point here, but it's just gonna wait a minute for him to get back because the internet went out. So yeah, it was just me. I'm here hanging out. Yeah. So please tell me, like, so yeah, just tell me down in the comments what you guys think. You guys think I should do more of these? Um, you want some more comic book reviews? Because I got plenty of books. I got a whole stack right here. I got to read here soon. I can clear off my desk, which I don't think is going to happen anytime soon. Yeah, just waiting on Scott. So do what you will while you wait. Yep.
Lorenzo,
Yep.
sorry, we had a power outage, so we had a little
Oh,
brownout. So we're back.
okay.
We're back. We had a little brown
Okay.
outage.
Where was that? What was I saying?
So I do agree with you though. Like, I'm not saying DC doesn't change with the times. I mean, but there's definitely a difference in approach. Like, take almost any Marvel character that's a change with the times, and then compare them to Batwoman. And Batwoman was supposed to be like, I mean, like, think about the type of character Batwoman is, and how
Mhm.
little she has shown up in the Batman, like in like the main or the most popular, even amongst the normie of Batman mediums.
Yeah, I will agree with you that one. But then also DC, um, this is kind of like I don't know if it's a gripe of mine, but it's an observation. The Green Lantern is their we're gonna take and like our social I don't want to say social justice character, but like their social issue character. Because like they'll
You mean
have
which Green Lantern? Which one?
that's what I'm saying. So like every Green Lantern they introduce is like something to go with like a social issue. So like
Oh, yeah, like
they have
gay Green Lantern, black Green Lantern.
yeah, they got a black Green Lantern, they got a Middle Eastern Green Lantern, they got a woman, a Latino woman, and then even Alan Scott, the oldest Green Lantern, he came out, he's gay. So it's like I feel like DC kind of does do that, like not change with the times, but like they kind of change things to meet social issues. Um,
It's almost
which
like they're saying, there's almost like they're saying, okay, we have a social issue that we want to be that's popular right now that we want to kind of maybe not cash in on, but we want to do something with. Okay, what character do we have that's recognizable and will cause the least amount of complications if we illustrate this aspect of their story? Okay, Green Lantern. Okay, yeah, we'll do that guy. He's, because of the nature of his story, it's a little easier for us to move him around because we just make another Green Lantern if we want to, but we can't just make another Superman because everyone, there's only like 5 surviving Kryptonians and 3 of them are evil.
Yeah. Yeah. So I like DC does do stuff like that, but I'm still in that DC. I don't hate them for that. Like, I think it was kind of, some of it's a little disingenuous. You can tell sometimes when they do things like, this is a cash grab, which a lot of companies do, including Marvel.
It's not as bad as Marvel's. Remember that Safe Space character?
No.
Dude, please don't look him up. Marvel released. I think it's a joke with how bad it was. Marvel released a new set of heroes that got blasted during the peak of like the diversity, and like during the like a couple years ago, and they had released a character called Safe Space. Trust me, it was like it looked like baby's first Zoomer political issue of the time character.
Oh God, that sounds terrible.
It's don't look it up. Don't. Marvel fans out there, don't look it up. Don't look it up. It's that bad.
As everyone who's listening to this is typing, like yeah.
they're like, who is this? Who's this guy he's talking about? And it's like, actually, okay, that was a really progressive point for Marvel. I'm like, yeah, they're so bad they don't show up anywhere. That's how hated they were.
Yeah. So, but I'm gonna talk about this until you read it. You need to read Absolute Batman. It is so good. And I don't know if you heard my explanation earlier. So the way the Absolute Universe works is the main DC universe is centered around Superman, right? Because he was the first one. Everything's based off of like the good in Superman, right? That's why the DC universe is the way it is. Mm-hmm. The Absolute Universe is the universe centered around Darkseid. So everything is a dark, twisted version of what the main line is, and like Absolute Batman is like the peak storytelling of that, because you can tell Darkseid straight up does not like Batman at all, because all his villains are demons. They're all demons. They're ridiculous. They're like Bane is, so in this universe, Batman, Absolute Batman is 6'9", 420 pounds of straight muscle.
Jesus Christ.
Bane, when he's not venomed out, is like 7 feet tall. And like there's a picture of him holding Batman by the head like this, and his feet are like dangling, and like Batman can't do anything, and he just throws him. Like, it's ridiculous.
He doesn't break his back? Come on now, he didn't break the bat again?
No. But then the Joker, which I really like this twist with the Joker. So in this universe, Batman's like I call him blue collar Batman because he's poor, and he was a construction worker and an engineer to kind of figure out how to make all his gadgets and get his headquarters like that are embedded throughout the city and everything. The third richest man, I think it's the third richest man or the richest man on Earth, is the Joker. But
wow.
They call him the Joker because he never laughs, which I love. And then I'm gonna pull this up real quick.
It's like a Joker that's not laughing. That sounds like, what was the comic, Riddler versus Joker? What was that comic called? Where he was like, Joker just lost any joy in doing anything and had a war with the Riddler?
Yeah.
It reminds me of.
I'm about to share my screen with you, and I'm going to show you this absolute Joker. It's ridiculous. So this is him in his full, like, demon mode.
That's like complete missed opportunity. That was not used in the Arkham games.
Yeah.
Complete missed opportunity.
Yeah, and like, these are just teasers. Like, this issue hasn't come out yet. This issue comes out in December, and this is what he looks like. I don't know if how well you can see that, but this is what he looks like. This is what we've seen of him so far. Is like he pretty much looks like this, but then he's gonna turn into this to fight back at.
Do you think that has to do with Do you think that has to do with the whole, since anime and manga's gotten bigger? I've noticed that, comics have been progressively getting a little more anime and manga-ish. Just some of that influence from the storytelling to some of the concepts and the ideas seem to be kind of weaving into comics. And like, so much so that when you go to a comic book store, it used to be that, if you were the guy asking for manga, you would be kicked out. They're like, we don't serve your type around here, But now they actually have some of it in there, and I'm like, I'm sitting here like, these two things don't look like they should mix.
I was actually talking about this earlier. I think what it is like how you were saying, like, I think nerd culture and nerdy things is mainstream now, and anime is super mainstream now. Everybody watches anime now, apparently. So, but I think since it's so mainstream, it's like it's bleeding over into other culture, especially nerd culture. Like, don't be wrong, like North American comic books are still like their own thing. They have their own style and different aspects to it. But like even
Image Comics.
Yeah, like even one of my favorite comic book artists is Nicholas Draper Ivey, and he is a manga artist. Like, he draws manga, but he's made, like, he has a comic out right now. It's the Batman Beyond Static book that just dropped. Like, it's his art, it's his book, and like you can tell he's a manga artist, but he's drawing American comic books. Like, I think it's just like, at the end of the day,
it's full circle. It's full circle. Art.
Yeah, at the end of the day,
it's full circle, because we did this, like anime and manga. A lot of that came from comics because of World War II and us having comic books over there.
Yeah,
So I'm sorry to interrupt you. Yes, I'm
sorry.
No,
you're fine. You're fine. No, just you made the exact same point I was going to make. Is just like it's a full circle moment, and art influences art, and at the end of the day, anime and manga is art, and so is comic books. It's just gonna eventually. It's gonna bleed over into itself, and even my book. Like, my book is Japanese. Like, it's based in Japan. Like, and it's just because I'm a nerd. like I grew up watching anime. I grew up watching anime and reading comics. Like, of course this is gonna happen. Same here. Eventually this is gonna happen. So.
Yeah, I for my video game guys out there, I tore up Persona 5 Royale.
Yeah.
And Persona 5 was a real big game because I had more or less freshly came from Japan after I started the game.
Yeah.
So, like when you go to different spots in the game, I'm like, oh yeah, I was there. Oh yeah, I was there. Oh yeah, I was doing that over there.
I did that. I did the thing.
I did that thing, at that time.
Yeah, I did. I was in Japan in 2023 for a few months, and I did a bunch of stuff that, like, I've always seen on, like, YouTube, Instagram, and stuff like that. And now when I go, when that stuff pops across my feed or comes on YouTube, it's like, I've been there. That's exactly what that looks like, because I've been there, seen it with my own naked eye, and it's great. But unfortunately, really cool. I do have to go. My son is waking up from his nap, and I need to go handle that so my wife can get back to work, because she works from home, and she said she would cover it for me so I can do my 2 podcasts. So
that's an awesome wife. That's an awesome wife.
So I'm going to go ahead and have to wrap it up, and hopefully we need to do this again. Hopefully in the next few weeks or so. I am going to Japan next week, so super excited for that. Japan for Thanksgiving. Who would have thought? Who never thought I'd get to say those words?
Give me a holler. I'll give you some awesome spots to go. Tell me you're going to go to Nerd Mecca, Akihabara.
Oh, we're going to Osaka. We're gonna be in Osaka.
Oh, you're gonna be in Osaka the whole time. All right. Well,
Yeah.
there's never mind. I thought you were gonna go to Nerd Mecca. That's on me.
I've been to Akihabara. I've been to Akihabara. I saw the Gundam. I saw the Yokohama. I've done all the car stuff. I've done the car stuff in Tokyo. I haven't done the car stuff in Osaka. So.
Well, yeah, trust me. If you want to know something really adorable, get a Pokemon figurine, like a little Pokemon plushie. Personally, I had Rizudon. I had him, who's Charizard for people in the States. And then have him like with your backpack or whatever, have him latched onto there. It creates an opener for Japanese girls to talk to you.
I'm married.
Okay, well, yeah, but I mean, it'll make you more, it just makes everything more approachable. I'm just saying, like, yeah, go, so yeah.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yes, I'd love that. Thank you so much, Lorenzo, for having me on here. Thank you so much to my fellow nerds that are doing this whole thing. Lorenzo is one of the best people I've ever met in my life, and I would greatly appreciate the opportunity to be back here again. So thank you for your time. God bless.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have you back. We'll probably do another one after I get back from Japan.
I look forward to it. God bless.
Have a good one, bud. I'll see you later.
All right. Later days. Peace.
Bye.